He handed me the cup, smiling, but I saw the same faint blue powder under his fingernail I'd scrubbed from her spoon. And that was only the beginning. The room was spinning, but no one else seemed to notice. I clutched the edge of the dining table, my thumb pressing hard against the polished wood as if pressure could steady the tremor in my wrist. Laughter bubbled around me, easy, rehearsed. My wife, Lauren, was dabbing her lip with a cloth napkin, eyes flicking from me to her brother, Ryan, who sat across the table with his usual self-satisfied smirk. "I made your favorite," Lauren said, pushing the cappuccino closer. "Try it while it's still hot." I hesitated. The foam on top was almost too perfect. No spill, no ripple. A heart shape, sharp-edged like it had been stenciled. The smell was familiar but wrong, like something sweet masking rot. Ryan raised his glass of juice. "To new beginnings." Everyone clinked. I didn't. "Babe?" Lauren's voice was warm. "You okay?" I nodded too quickly. "Yeah, just headache." Again, always a headache. The week before, I'd blacked out in the elevator at work. 2 weeks earlier, I'd forgotten my own access code during a budget meeting, had to be escorted out by security. My hands had been shaking that day too. I lifted the cup, let the steam touch my face. Her eyes watched me over the rim. Ryan leaned back, casually swirling his glass. I put the cup down. Lauren frowned. "Something wrong?" "No," I said, forcing a smile. "Just letting it cool." But my stomach was already turning. My throat felt coated, like I'd swallowed dust. I reached for my water instead. Outside the window, the neighbors were setting up a yard sale. Kids darted between cardboard boxes. A little girl waved at me. I didn't wave back. "I think I need to lie down," I said. Ryan chuckled. "Big night?" "I wasn't drinking," I said, too sharp. Lauren looked at me, lips parting slightly, but said nothing. The hallway blurred as I walked. My left leg dragged. I nearly missed the doorway and hit the frame with my shoulder. In the bedroom, I collapsed onto the bed, heart hammering, palms clammy. Something was wrong, not just physically, deeper. I stared at the ceiling. It was the 3rd episode this month, always at home, always after breakfast or brunch, and always when Ryan was around. I replayed last weekend, the smoothie Lauren insisted on making. The tightness in my chest an hour later, the way she sat beside me on the couch, stroking my hair, whispering, "It's just stress, baby. You've been working too hard." But what if it wasn't stress? What if it was design? A slow, systematic weakening, a war of attrition, and I was losing. Downstairs I heard Ryan laugh again, then silence, then Lauren's voice, lower now, closer. I closed my eyes, not to sleep, but to listen, and I asked myself, for the first time without flinching, what if they want me gone? I didn't leave the bedroom for hours. The door stayed cracked just enough to hear the clink of dishes, the hum of casual conversation. They didn't whisper. They didn't lower their voices. That was the most unsettling part, how normal it all sounded, like I wasn't upstairs unraveling. At some point I heard them laugh. Her laugh, light and smooth, his, short, nasal, cutting, then the sound of water running, a blender, footsteps on tile. The world kept going without me. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, staring at the text thread I hadn't touched in months. My friend and old colleague, Thomas. We'd drifted. I told myself it was distance, time zones, life. But now I wondered, had they nudged me to let that connection die? I typed, erased, retyped. Finally sent, "Hey, ever happened to you? Blanking in meetings like losing time?" He read it immediately. "Dude, that's not normal. You okay?" I didn't answer. Instead, I opened the browser, searched, signs of poisoning, microdosing symptoms, chronic exposure to toxins. My eyes scanned the words like they were written in code. Fatigue, confusion, tremors, memory gaps. It all fit too well, too easily. I clicked away. Paranoia. That's what they'd say. That's what Lauren would whisper to her therapist or to Ryan or to whoever listened. He's burning out. He's obsessed with control. I remembered her exact words, said in front of me once, lightly, with a laugh. But now they echoed with a new edge. I stood, walked to the bathroom, stared at myself in the mirror, pale, pupils slightly uneven, a twitch under the left eye. I opened the cabinet. Row after row of vitamins, hers, mine, ours, labeled, color-coded. I opened my bottle of D3, smelled it. Nothing. I reached for the jar of collagen powder she insisted I use in my morning smoothies, pried the lid off, dipped a fingertip in, tasted. Nothing again. But what was I expecting? Cyanide? I closed everything. Sat on the edge of the tub. Memories flashed like broken glass. Lauren handing me the wrong mug, then switching it back with a quick, oops. Ryan bringing me a protein bar just in case before my quarterly presentation, the one where I blanked halfway through my own slide deck. Lauren's face when I first mentioned I wanted to apply for department lead. How quickly she changed the subject. How quickly she brought up my brain fog. I stood, heart racing. Then came the sound that stopped me cold, their voices, below the bathroom vent, clear, unfiltered. Lauren. He didn't drink it. Ryan. He's starting to notice. Lauren. We should ease off. Just a few days. Ryan. That'll make it worse. He'll think he's getting better, then crash. A pause, then her voice, lower, steady. He just needs to step back from work. That's all. It's for his own good. I gripped the sink with both hands. They weren't even hiding it. I looked at my reflection again. For the first time, I didn't see someone unraveling. I saw someone being unwound, carefully, patiently, and something inside me clicked. Not panic, not rage, not yet. Just the beginning of something colder. I began to think, maybe I'd let them keep talking. Maybe I'd let them think I was still slipping. And maybe I'd start listening, really listening, to every word they didn't mean for me to hear. Because now I knew the rules. And I wasn't going to play fair either. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with my eyes closed, breathing slow and even. Lauren curled up next to me, her arm draped over my chest like a chain in silk. Her breath was warm on my neck. I stayed still. She shifted once, then again. Around 2 a.m., she got up. I heard the floor creak, the soft thud of the fridge door. A pause, then running water. 10 minutes passed before she returned, slid back into bed, and kissed my shoulder. I didn't move. In the morning, I waited until she stepped into the shower before I made my move. I padded downstairs barefoot, heart hammering. In the kitchen, the mugs were already lined up. Hers, mine, Ryan's. I switched them quickly. Not just the cups, the positions, the coasters underneath, even the napkins. My cup, the plain white one, I placed exactly where Ryan usually sat. His, with the chipped rim, I put in front of me. The blender started upstairs. She was making the smoothies now. By the time they both came down, I was sitting at the table, scrolling through my phone like nothing had changed. "Morning, champ," Ryan said, rubbing his eyes. "Feeling better?" "Much," I said, smiling. Lauren set the smoothies down, then kissed my cheek. I added turmeric this time, good for inflammation. We all drank. 10 minutes later, Ryan rubbed his temple. "Is it me or is it hot in here?" Lauren frowned. "I don't think so." My eyes stayed on him. He shifted in his seat, cleared his throat twice. "You okay?" I asked. He waved it off. "Didn't sleep? Headache?" Lauren touched his arm. Want water? Number, I'm fine. But his voice cracked. I stood, casually collected the empty cups, and walked to the sink. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her watching me. I rinsed everything thoroughly. Too thoroughly. Then paused. Hey, babe, I said over my shoulder. Remind me again where we got that protein powder? Whole market, she said instantly. Why? No reason? I turned back to the sink. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. That afternoon, I drove across town to a place Thomas had mentioned once, a quiet cafe near the university. He was waiting for me. Still the same, plaid shirt, coffee-stained laptop bag, eyes like he didn't miss a thing. You look like hell, he said, standing. Good to see you too. We sat. I leaned in, voice low. I need to ask something weird. His face didn't flinch. Shoot. I told him everything. Not in detail. Not yet. Just enough. The symptoms. The timing. The people. He didn't laugh. He didn't interrupt. When I was done, he asked only one question. You still have access to your work laptop? I nodded. Good. Install a keystroke logger. Record your sessions. If you get confused again, you'll have a trail. What about at home? His expression darkened. Same deal. Voice memos, video, hide your phone, use a decoy if you have to, and get a talk screen. I hesitated. He leaned in. You're not crazy. You're being erased. Slowly. That's not paranoia. That's process. Driving home, I passed the pharmacy. On impulse, I pulled in, bought a set of home testing kits. Saliva, blood, the works. At dinner, I laughed too hard at Ryan's jokes, praised Lauren's cooking, asked for seconds. She looked relieved. But in my pocket, I had a test strip and a sliver of cotton sealed in plastic. And that night, after they were asleep, I went to the garage, turned on the light, and started searching. They thought I was breaking down. I was documenting, and I wasn't the one who should be afraid anymore. The test came back blank. No toxins, no anomalies, no proof. I stared at the strip under the bathroom light, willing it to change, but the line stayed blue. Safe, clean, normal. It didn't make sense. My hands clenched on the edge of the sink. I'd done everything right. Switched the cups, recorded the time, saved the cotton swab in a sterile bag. I even labeled the envelope. But now, it just looked like I was going insane. Like I was chasing ghosts through my kitchen drawers. From the hallway, I heard Lauren's voice. Sweetheart, you coming to bed? Yeah, I called out. Just brushing. I flushed the test. Not out of guilt, out of fury. In bed, I stared at the ceiling while she curled into me again. Her fingers traced circles on my chest like I was some sleeping beast she'd tamed. I didn't move. At work the next morning, everything unraveled. The presentation I'd spent a week preparing, gone. The files corrupted, unsaved, no backup. I swore I'd uploaded it to the cloud, triple-checked it. But when I opened the folder in the conference room, all I found were blank slides and a glitching logo. Seriously? My manager, Karen, said. You're not joking? I tried to explain. My voice caught. Sweat bloomed under my arms. Maybe I can wing it, I offered, desperate. Sit down, Ben, she said quietly. I sat, humiliated. After the meeting, I stood in the hallway, back to the glass. People passed me with sympathetic glances. A few avoided eye contact. Karen stepped out, folded her arms. Listen, she said. I like you, but this is the third major lapse in 2 months. If there's something going on... There is, I said quickly. I think someone's doing this, to me. Doing what? I don't know. Messing with my files, my head, maybe even... I stopped. She blinked. Even what? I didn't say it. I didn't dare say poison. Instead, I nodded like I'd been caught. Forget it. She sighed. Take some time, a few days off, regroup. Code for, don't come back until we forget this ever happened. That night, Lauren found me in the garage, slumped beside the shelves, knees to my chest. I hadn't turned on the light. She knelt, her voice soft. Ben, talk to me. What's going on? I looked at her, really looked, eyes full of worry, lips slightly parted. She looked perfect, like a nurse in a dream, a caretaker, a wife. I'm just tired, I whispered. She hugged me. It's going to be okay, she said. And in that moment, something cracked. Not her, me, not rage, not resolve, just the crushing realization that I had no proof, no allies, no plan, just fragments, and the sickening possibility that maybe, just maybe, they were right. Maybe I was unraveling. Maybe the problem was me. That night I didn't pretend to sleep. I just lay there, eyes wide in the dark. At 3 a.m., I got up and went to the mirror again. I looked for signs, any signs, swollen pupils, tremor in the hand, discoloration in the tongue, anything. But all I saw was a man alone, trying to hold his shape against something invisible. Behind me, in the reflection, Lauren stood in the doorway. You okay? She asked. I nodded. Just insomnia. She didn't move, just watched. And I remembered something Ryan once said, laughing, drunk, half joking at the fire pit. If you want to make someone doubt their mind, just rearrange their drawers every day. They'll think they're losing it within a week. He laughed when he said it. Lauren had laughed too. In the mirror, I watched her watching me, and for the first time, I wasn't sure who was the ghost in this house. It hit me the next morning, not like a realization, but like a shift in gravity. I was staring into my coffee again, unsure if I should sip. The smell was familiar now, almost comforting in its threat. Lauren was in the laundry room. Ryan hadn't shown up yet. The silence was different, not peaceful, exposed, like the house was holding its breath. I got up and poured the coffee into the plant by the window. It hissed as it soaked into the soil. Then I did something I hadn't done in weeks. I opened my work laptop, logged into the archived backups, and traced the deletion path of my presentation files. The system logs were clean, too clean. But one line stood out, an access timestamp from 2:14 a.m. the night before the crash. I was asleep. The laptop had been locked in my briefcase. Or so I thought. I checked the internal webcam history, disabled. I dug deeper, and then I found it, a Bluetooth ping, a connection to a second device labeled simply our phone. Ryan. The bastard had synced to my system. I didn't scream, didn't even flinch. I closed the laptop, stood, and looked around the room like I was seeing it for the first time. This wasn't my house. It was a set, a stage. Every drawer I opened had been arranged with too much precision. Every cabinet shelf too symmetrical. I pulled one photo off the wall. Lauren and I in Italy, smiling. On the back, her handwriting. Perfect trip. You needed that. You needed that. Language of manipulation, framed affection. No more. I didn't need revenge. I needed evidence. I made a list that afternoon. Items to log, dates to track, passwords to change. I bought a burner phone and installed a secure recording app, hid it inside an old router box in the living room. I uploaded backups to an encrypted drive. I called Thomas. I found something, I said. You ready to blow it open? Not yet. I need more. I need them relaxed. He paused. Ben, be careful. This is chess, not poker. Exactly, I said, and they think I'm still face down in the mud. That evening, I acted better than I ever had. I made dinner, lemon pasta, Ryan's favorite. I offered wine. I laughed. I told a fake story about messing up a Zoom call. Ryan roared. Lauren smiled. They bought it. I watched them eat. Lauren reached for my plate, offering another scoop. You're eating so much better lately. I feel clearer, I said, like something lifted. She beamed. Ryan raised his glass. To recovery. I clinked. Later, while clearing the table, I saw it. Ryan's phone, left face down by the sink. I picked it up, locked. But for just a second, a notification pulsed through the black screen. A preview of a message from Lauren. Try 4 drops this time. He's adjusting too fast. I stared at the words. My breath caught. I took a photo with the burner phone, slid Ryan's back exactly where it was. The room buzzed. I stood in silence. This wasn't just them messing with me. This was a protocol, a method, a plan. And Lauren, my wife, was leading it. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up cataloging everything. But sometime near dawn, one thought rose above all the rest. If she could do this to me, who else had she done it to? And who else might be next? I needed a witness. Not someone to listen, someone to see. Her name was Claire, a former lab tech who'd worked with me years ago on a product launch. Smart, sharp, and quietly ruthless when it came to precision. We hadn't spoken since she moved to DC, but I knew she owed me. I'd once covered a 6-figure screw-up she made with a mislabeled compound. No one else ever found out. I called her using the burner phone. Ben? She answered after one ring. Jesus, thought you fell off the planet. I need 20 minutes face to face. A pause. When? Tonight. Another pause. Make it count. We met in the back corner of a quiet wine bar near DuPont Circle. She wore her hair shorter now, sharper lines, no makeup. Just the same stare, calculating, surgical. I laid it out in bullet points. She asked no questions until I was done. When I showed her the photo of Ryan's phone, she leaned forward, finally interested. You want me to test it? She said flatly. I nodded. She sipped her wine. I'm not a chemist anymore. But you still have access, and I trust you. Big mistake, she muttered. But she agreed. In the parking garage, I handed her a Ziploc bag with samples, the leftover protein mix, a corner of the napkin I'd wiped my mouth with after brunch, even tap water from our kitchen sink. I'll call in 2 days, she said. If you're still alive? She turned, heels clicking. The next evening, Lauren insisted we attend her company's charity gala. Big donors, stiff wine, men in suits faking laughs. A perfect arena. I don't know if I'm up for it, I said. She tilted her head. People will be asking about you. Let them. Ben. I met her eyes. Calm. Even. I said I'll go. The room glowed with low chandeliers and soft music. I wore the dark navy suit she'd picked for me last Christmas, a size too slim now. I shook hands, smiled politely, but said little. Everyone seemed to know some version of me. Ben the innovator. Ben the lost genius. Ben the burnout. I let it all wash over. Lauren drifted across the ballroom like royalty. Ryan arrived late. Loud, charming, just enough cologne to leave a trail. They clinked glasses halfway across the room. No one saw me watching. I moved through the crowd until I reached the bartender. Club soda, no lime. He poured. From my pocket, I slipped out a small clear vial Claire had given me years ago for sample transport. Sleek. Sterile. When no one was looking, I tilted Lauren's wine glass, the one she'd left on the bar, and swirled just enough of the liquid into the vial. Then sealed it, fast, back into my jacket. I returned just as she reached my side again. You okay? She asked. I am now. She smiled. I smiled back. Later that night, she curled against me in bed, tracing my jaw. You seem distant tonight, she whispered. I was just thinking. About what? trust. She went still for half a second, barely a flinch. Then, "We're good, Ben. You're healing." I kissed her forehead. She slept easily. I didn't. Claire called the next morning. "I tested it twice," she said. "There's trace amounts of a cholinesterase inhibitor in the protein powder. Low doses. Cumulative effect." I closed my eyes. "It's not street stuff," she continued. "Pharma grade. And it doesn't show up in standard panels." "What does that mean?" "It means they're playing with something high level. This wasn't DIY. Someone wanted you compliant or erased." I gripped the phone. "Can you get that in writing?" "I already did." Then she paused. "But Ben, this isn't just about them, is it? This was a dry run." "What?" She lowered her voice. "If they tested this on you, someone else is next." The boardroom was silent when I walked in. 30 people, department heads, investors. My replacement, a sleek young guy with good teeth and zero substance, sat at the end of the table, flipping through his notes. Lauren was already seated to his left, wearing a fitted navy blazer and an expression of perfect poise. Ryan leaned back beside her, grinning like he owned the place. I hadn't been invited, but I didn't need an invitation. Karen stood when she saw me. "Ben?" "Got something to share," I said. My voice carried in the glass room like a knife slid across stone. Lauren stood halfway. "Ben, maybe this isn't—" I cut her off. "I'll be quick." I set the USB on the table and clicked the remote. The main screen blinked to life. A folder opened. Audio files, lab results, a video of Ryan's phone notification. I didn't speak. I just let the facts talk. A silence thicker than gravity filled the room. Then, finally, Karen. "What exactly are we looking at?" I turned to her. Systematic poisoning, over months, engineered by these two. Loud gasps. Chairs shifted. Ryan stood fast. "This is insane!" Lauren reached for his arm. Too late. The next slide showed the test results. Claire's signature at the bottom. Time stamped. Verified. "This," I said, pointing, "is a cholinesterase inhibitor. Microdosed. Traced back to supplements they gave me, including a sample taken from Lauren's glass at the gala. Same compound. Same pattern." Lauren's voice broke. "You forged this." Karen spoke before she could finish. "Lauren, sit down." Security entered the room. Ryan backed away instinctively. I stepped forward, calm. They didn't want to kill me. Not right away. Just make me unstable, forgetful, replaceable. I let that word hang. They wanted me gone so they could sell my work. Quietly. Through him. I pointed at Ryan. Someone from legal asked to pause the meeting. Karen refused. "They used my breakdown as cover," I said. "But I recorded everything. I let them think I was unraveling." I turned to Lauren. "Did you ever love me? Or was I just your sandbox experiment?" Her lip trembled. "You don't understand." "No," I said. "I finally do." Ryan lunged for the USB. 2 guards grabbed him before he got close. The room erupted. Shouts, questions, phones pulled out, eyes everywhere, and I stood in the center, not triumphant, just still. Karen walked to the head of the table. "We'll let the legal team and police handle the rest," she said. "Ben, stay. The rest of you out." Lauren's eyes locked on mine as she was led from the room. She didn't cry. Not yet. Ryan screamed something. I didn't hear it. I was already turning away. Because this wasn't victory, it was clarity. And that was enough. The hall outside the courtroom was empty. I stood by the window, watching rain streak down the glass. Across the street, reporters swarmed the courthouse steps. Cameras pointed at doors that wouldn't open for another hour. In my pocket, the conference pass pressed against my palm. Tomorrow's keynote speaker. Resilience and Responsibility in Innovation. Behind me, a janitor wheeled his cart slowly past. I didn't move. Then I saw them. Lauren and Ryan, handcuffed, heads down, led out the side door like cargo. No cameras, no applause. Just the hush of justice done without ceremony. I didn't wave, didn't nod. I just turned away, walked into the rain, and kept walking.